Arrogant guide humiliates family at midnight. Never knew they were billionaire parents. The clock struck midnight, and the air was thick with anticipation. A group of travelers stood at the edge of a shadowy forest, eyes wide as the guide's voice sliced through the tension. "All right, everyone, single file. We're heading into the unknown now." The overconfidence dripped from his words, and the family cringed, sharing nervous glances. They had come seeking adventure, but this felt more like a reckless plunge into a dark abyss. As they moved deeper into the gloom, a low rumble echoed around them. Was it a distant thunder, or something far worse? The trees swayed and whispered secrets. The guide chuckled, eyes sparkling with arrogance as he strutted ahead, oblivious to the anxious murmurs of the family. They were just an ordinary family, or so everyone thought. But underneath their modest exterior lay a fortune that could shake the very ground they walked on, an empire built on innovation. Yet here they were, clad in simple clothes, desperately trying to blend in and enjoy their escape from the limelight. Then it happened. A bone-chilling scream pierced the night. The guide froze, his bravado cracking as the family instinctively huddled together, hearts racing. What was that? One of them stammered, each word tumbling out in disbelief. The guide, the cocky man who had led them into this potentially deadly situation, finally looked scared. His confident smirk faded, replaced by a pallor that made him appear smaller than he'd ever let on. "Hey, before we continue with this amazing story, I need to give you an important heads up. Many subscribers have reported that YouTube unsubscribed them without warning. Take a quick second to check the red button below to make sure you're still subscribed to the channel. I'd hate for you to miss any of the exclusive content coming soon. And while you're there, smash that like button. It really helps me out with the algorithm. Oh, and tell me in the comments, which city are you watching from? I love getting to know every amazing person who's part of this community. Your participation makes all the difference. Let's connect." A strange noise echoed again, closer this time. The family exchanged nervous glances, their palms slick with sweat. Every instinct screamed at them to turn back, but they were caught. They had a decision to make: stay with the arrogant guide who had put them in this terrifying position, or reveal their true identities and seize back control. The air suddenly shifted, thick with a new tension. The guide's eyes flickered toward the shadows that danced at the edges of the tree line, as if he sensed something lurking there. He turned to the family, a mixture of anger and fear cracking through his bravado. "You think you're better than me, don't you?" But the truth was, they didn't think they were better. What lay hidden within them was more than wealth. It was a legacy waiting to unravel. As the forest around them darkened, the ground trembled slightly, a prelude to what was to come. Something ancient and wrathful stirred, and the secrets would soon spill into the open. What would they decide? And who would they really face when the night revealed its chilling truths? A sudden rustle erupted from the thicket, pulling every set of eyes toward the source. The guide's bravado evaporated as the noise intensified, shifting from a whispering sigh to an urgent, almost pleading cacophony of sounds. What was that? He rasped, his arrogance fading like the dying light around them. The family, now tightly pressed together, felt an oppressive weight in the air. Each heartbeat echoed in their ears, louder than the strange noises that swelled from the darkness. They all felt it. A foreboding chill wrapped itself around their bones, squeezing tighter with each second that passed. "Listen," one of the children urged, no longer interested in adventure. Their innocence had been swept away in the face of the unknown. All thoughts of their fortune faded away, survival was the only game now, and they were losing. "I'm just going to take a look," the guide insisted, trying to reclaim his authority, though tremors clutched his voice. He stepped forward, edging toward the shadows. His flashlight beam quivered against the towering trees, revealing twisted branches, twisted faces hidden in the foliage, swaying as if in mockery. "Don't!" another family member called out. The sense of danger dulled their senses to any past notions of wealth or status. In this moment, they were just people stripped of their identities. Humanity pressed against raw fear. With a flicker, the beam of light caught something, an eye, glistening like a star, observing them with intent. The guide stilled and, for a moment, was trapped by fear. What the hell is that? His bravado completely vanished, and his voice cracked with fear. Before anyone could respond, a guttural growl echoed around them, reverberating off the bark of the ancient trees. It felt like the earth shuddered under its weight. "Run!" Someone screamed, and it was as if that word broke a spell. Adrenaline surged through them, propelling the family to flee deeper into the darkness where the guide had been so eager to lead them. Branches clawed at their skin as they stumbled through the underbrush, desperate to escape whatever monster lurked behind them. Fear skated along their backs, a ghostly hand that wouldn't let go. And yet, as they ran, something within began to ignite, a resolve to fight for their lives emerged beneath the layers of fear. Suddenly, the eerie howls stopped, replaced by an unnatural stillness. They skidded to a halt, panting, eyes wide in the dark. Was it gone? Are we safe? The youngest whispered through gasps, her voice trembling like the leaves above them. The question hung in the air, heavy with dread. The guide turned, a wild look etched on his features. "I don't know," he admitted, the truth raw and painful slipping through his cracked facade. The family stood in a tight circle, united by fear, but as the night stretched on, doubts filtered through their minds. What if the hidden strength they wielded wasn't just wealth, but something more profound? Something they would have to confront if they were to survive this. A flicker of movement at the edge of the clearing caught their attention. An unfamiliar figure emerged from the trees, cloaked in shadows. It took a step forward, and the family's breath caught in their throats. "Who are you?" one demanded, though their voice barely rose above a whisper. The figure paused, a smirk dancing on their lips. "You have no idea what you're getting into," and just like that, a new layer of mystery unfurled before them, weaving a tapestry of danger and revelation. They knew they were not just battling a darkness that lurked in the woods, they were unraveling secrets that could shatter everything they thought they knew. What awaited them in this strange encounter? What truths would come to light amid the perils of the forest? Their journey was far from over, and the darkness thickened with every heartbeat. The figure stepped into the beam of light, revealing a face that was half hidden beneath a hood. Shadows danced across their features, making it difficult to determine if they were friend or foe. "Who are you?" the mother croaked, her voice hoarse from fear. Her heart raced. "Let's just say," the cloaked individual replied, tilting their head with an enigmatic smile, "that I'm someone who has seen what lurks in these woods." They paused, letting the words linger, thickening the tension that hung in the air. "What are you talking about?" the father demanded, pushing past his fear, trying to sound brave for his family. "We don't have time for riddles." The figure's laughter was sharp and unsettling. "Time is precisely what you don't have." They stepped closer, the moonlight illuminating their eyes intense, and full of secrets. "The beast you fled from is not the only danger in the night." At that moment, a deafening roar echoed from the depths of the forest, a sound so primal that it resonated through their bones, freezing them in place. Panic painted the outlines of their faces, and their breaths quickened, merging with the chaos of the night. "Listen carefully," the figure urged, urgency saturating their tone. "You must get to the old shrine before the sun rises. There, truths will be revealed, and choices lie ahead." "Choices?" the guide echoed, skepticism dripping from his words, but uncertainty flickered in his eyes. "We're not following you anywhere." Without hesitating, the figure pointed into the darkness. "Your arrogance will get you killed. Each decision you make will determine whether you escape tonight's terrors or become part of them." The family exchanged glances, the weight of the unknown pressing down on them. The guide swallowed hard, his bravado crumbling with the threat that loomed over them. "We can't go that way," he stammered. "How do we know you aren't just leading us to our deaths?" "Because I know the forest," the cloaked one replied, their gaze unwavering. "And I know what hunts you. It is relentless." Before they could protest, the figure turned and started moving into the trees, the shadows swirling around them like a cloak. Without a second thought, the family found themselves following, driven by fear yet desperate to survive. Every rustle sparked their imagination, every snap of a twig felt like fate whispering perilously close. They pushed forward, the guide reluctantly leading at the rear, trying to keep his composure even as shadows shifted, taunting him with every step. As the breeze chilled the air, an unearthly wail erupted from the forest depths, a sound of anguish that resonated deep within their chests. The atmosphere grew thick with dread. What was that? One of the children whimpered, clinging tightly to his sister, whose face was pale as moonlight. Keep moving, the mother urged, her words strained. But it was too late. The shadows seemed to swell, closing in around them. The figure paused, glancing back. Whatever you see, remember, not everything is as it seems. The family moved as one, propelled by instinct, but lurking in the back of their minds was a dark question: what if they were not just running from a creature, but from the very truth of who they were? A crack of thunder echoed above, sending an electric chill through them, and the sky lit up with a momentary flash, briefly illuminating the treacherous path ahead. They barely noticed the figure vanish into the dark, leaving them alone in a wilderness thick with shadows and uncertainty. As their pace quickened, they heard something behind them, a low, rumbling growl that made their hearts race. They had to reach the shrine before night devoured them whole, but what awaited them there? With every ounce of instinct fueling them, they pressed on, knowing the beast and the truth weren't far behind. Would the revelation at the shrine bring salvation, or would it plunge them deeper into danger? The awakening was near, but the darkness had its own agenda. The family stumbled through the underbrush, their breaths coming in ragged gasps. Each moment felt like an eternity as they kept glancing over their shoulders. Silence fell, thick and foreboding, crushing the night air into a suffocating weight. Suddenly, the growl erupted again, closer this time, reverberating through the trees like thunder. The rustling branches sounded almost like whispers, secrets carried on the breath of the wind. Faster! The mother urged, her heart pounding with every footfall. She didn't dare look back, she could feel the presence drawing near. The children squeezed her hands tighter, their eyes wide, reflecting the sheer terror of the unknown. What if it finds us? Her son whimpered, fear etching deeper into his voice. Stay close. She hissed, pouring every ounce of strength into her resolve. The boy's fragility was a reminder that they weren't just facing danger, they had each other to protect. The darkness enveloped them as they pushed deeper into the forest. Each footfall crackled against the brittle undergrowth. The father, now filled with a desperate need to protect his family, moved closer to the front. Are we even going the right way? He shouted, addressing the void of shadows where the cloaked figure had vanished. What if this shrine is nothing but a trick? His voice echoed and fell silent into the night, a haunting reminder of how utterly alone they were. The only response was a deep, guttural breath that seemed to resonate within the very trees around them. The night drew tighter, closing in like a vice. Then it happened. A flicker of movement caught the father's gaze. Did you see that? He gasped, turning towards the kids. See what? The guide asked, looking unnerved as he walked with apprehensive steps. There. The father pointed, terrified and yet curiously drawn. There, just at the threshold of their peripheral vision, something was moving, an outline shifting in the shadows. No more waiting. The guide was growing impatient, anxiety bubbling over. We need to get to the shrine now. Every instinct screamed at them to run, and they did. Lights and shadows blinked in and out of view like a strobe in a dark room. Their chests heaved with the effort, the air thickening with dread. Suddenly, the sound of tearing leaves burst behind them. The growl roared again, this time more feral, more desperate. That was no animal. The kids screamed, it echoed off the trees, a piercing sound that split the night. Keep going. The mother shouted as a chill swept through her very core. She could feel the taste of bile rise in her throat as complete terror washed over her. A flash of storm lightning illuminated a monstrous silhouette behind them. It loomed, hideous and wild, eyes glowing like hellfire. They felt it tearing through the darkness like it owned the night. Run! Get to the shrine! The words flew from the father's lips like a hurried prayer. They sprinted, dodging branches and debris, minds racing with the need to survive. But doubt was creeping in. What if reaching that shrine was not the safety they hoped for? The whispers of the shadows were promising nothing but pain. Then, just ahead, the trees parted like a curtain, revealing a faint glow. The shrine. Relief crashed over them, yet a chill of uncertainty knotted their stomachs. What awaited them beyond the threshold? Would they find answers or more questions that led them into further chaos? Push forward. The father yelled, pulling his family together, bolstered by a sudden spike of determination. But as they neared the entrance, the shadows began to pulse, revealing shapes, echoes of those who once stood where they now stood. Faces twisted in anguish flashed among the flickering lights. A face emerged among the twisted shadows, the cloaked figure, staring fixedly at them with a knowing smile. "Welcome, I see you've chosen," they whispered, the voice rolling like thunder, subdued, but inside, the mother felt a pang of dread. What choice had they truly made? With their breaths mingling and hearts racing, they were about to discover the weight of their decision. And as the first light of dawn touched the horizon, the whispers erupted around them, and the truth began to unravel in the darkest way possible. The air around the shrine was oppressive, charged with an energy that prickled at their skin. The glow from the stone structure flickered like a candle in a gust, casting long shadows that danced along the forest floor. The cloaked figure stood just inside the entrance, almost serene amidst the chaos, yet a sinister aura clung to them like a shroud. "Choose." The mother repeated, her voice trembling as she clutched her children close. "What do you mean, choose?" "Ah, but that is where you are mistaken," the figure replied, tilting their head slightly. "You have already made your choice by stepping into this night. Choices resonate with the shadows. Choices carry consequences." Their voice was a blend of velvet smoothness and jagged edges, sending chills racing down her spine. "What do you want from us?" the father demanded, his chest rising and falling rapidly. He could feel the weight of the moment, the heavy thrum of fear, the urgency of survival balancing on a knife's edge. The figure gestured to the shrine, where intricate carvings etched into the stone seemed to shift and writhe in the flickering light. "It is not what I want. It is what the shrine demands. Each sacrifice strengthens it, feeding the darkness that dwells within." They stepped closer, the shadows clinging to their form, making them appear even larger, a marionette of nightmares poised to strike. The mother's gut twisted with horror. "Sacrifice?" she echoed, the word sour on her tongue. "We're not here to make any sacrifices." "Ah, but fate often draws us into its web," the figure crooned, "and now that you stand on this threshold, you must decide what are you willing to give to save those you love." Their gaze swept over the children, each luminous eye glinting like the edges of glass shards in the gloom. "Back away!" the father shouted, stepping forward. "We'll have none of this. Whatever is in your twisted mind, we want to play along." But the figure only laughed, a hollow sound that echoed through the trees. "You misunderstand, brave father. I am not your foe. I am merely the herald of the truth that lies within. The shrine knows all about you, your desires, your fears." They paused, their smile widening. "And your secrets?" "What are you talking about? We don't have any secrets." The mother's voice was shaky, but firm, yet doubt seeped into her words. Could they truly be free of secrets? Beneath the surface, even families had histories that wormed and curled, like tendrils reaching into their past. The figure leaned closer. "Isn't it fascinating how the weight of unknown fortunes can trap you like insects in a spider's web?" They stepped back, gaze still fixed. "A true reckoning awaits. Tell me, would you save yourselves, or shall we explore the depths of your family's true worth?" Suddenly, screams echoed through the forest, raw and piercing, disorienting them. The shadows answered in kind, writhing. The children flinched, pressing into their mother, eyes wide with fear. "We have to go," the father shouted, their instinct to protect blazing through him. But as he turned, a roadblock of shadows formed at the shrine's entrance, trapping them within its sinister embrace. "Do not rush," the figure said, their voice smooth as silk. "Answer this riddle: what is the one thing worth everything, yet carries the heaviest cost? What binds you together yet keeps you apart?" The family stood frozen, hearts pounding, minds racing. Was the answer self-evident, or were they being guided toward a labyrinth of deeper despair? Each moment ticked away, suffocating as the figure waited for their response, the question hanging heavy in the air, the children's frightened faces twisted away from the unknown, while the parents felt the weight of uncertainty bearing down on them. Suddenly, a low growl reverberated in the distance, deafening against the backdrop of their turmoil. "Will you sacrifice your truth?" the figure urged, their gaze steady. "Or will the truth sacrifice you?" And just like that, the choice was laid bare, dark and crashing, as shadows surged forward. Panic gripped the mother's chest like a vice. The cloaked figure's eyes glimmered with a knowingness that sent shivers down her spine. They were trapped, no option for escape. Dark whispers wrapped around them, thickening the air. "What is happening?" the little girl whimpered, her voice trembling, clinging tight to her mother. The father shot a glance over his shoulder. The wall of shadows pulsed, hungry and alive. "Stay close to me," he barked, his heart hammering against his ribs. "Whatever happens, I will protect you." But inside, doubt slithered through him. Protect them from what? This nightmare? "Answer," the figure commanded, their voice echoing around the glade. "What binds you yet keeps you apart?" Their jagged smile flickered with the flame of the candlelight, casting eerie shapes on the stones. Silence swallowed them, heavy and tangible. The father gritted his teeth, thinking, wrestling with the truth. "Love," he finally declared, his voice steady, though his heart raced. "Love binds us together." The figure laughed, an unsettling sound that seemed to vibrate through the very earth beneath their feet. "Ah! Love is a noble answer, but it is not without cost. You know this better than anyone. Isn't sacrifice part of love's perilous dance?" The mother felt bile rise in her throat. "What do you want from us?" she cried, desperation creeping into her tone. All around, the shadows grew thicker and sinister, creeping toward them in anticipation. "Only what the shrine demands, only your truths," the figure replied, circling them slowly, as if savoring the moment. "Let us peel back the layers. You don't have to hide behind each other." The words sank into them, and a flicker of fear ignited in the children's eyes. The father's heart raced. What secrets were they about to unearth? Were they really prepared for this? Then the crackle of branches broke the suffocating tension. A scavenger, an animal, perhaps, rustled through the underbrush nearby, startling the children further. "Is this the truth you fear?" the figure taunted. "The truth lurking beyond the shadows?" "No," the mother shouted, her voice cracking as she stepped protectively in front of her children. "We are not afraid of the truth. Whatever it is, we will face it together." But the figure clapped their hands, and the shadows churned with delight. "Brave, but foolish. Each truth you reveal becomes a weapon against your resolve. Each secret laid bare peels away your defenses a little more." "I'll do it," the father said, stubborn determination in his voice. "I'll tell everything. I'll share my past." The figure's piercing gaze turned sharp. "So noble, what would you sacrifice? Your pride? Your reputation?" The air crackled as they leaned closer. "Or will you give your very essence, your very heart?" The children trembled, their curiosity clawing at them but overshadowed by fear. "None of this is a game," the father roared, his voice echoing in the dense darkness. "You won't take our spirits. We will leave here together." He stepped forward, ready to defy the shadows, but the cloaked figure simply smiled wider. "You misunderstand, father. The shadows, the shrine, they don't require your surrender. They demand your truth. If you want your way out, you must give something in return." As the last word echoed, a low growl rumbled again, louder this time, shaking the ground beneath their feet. The family's eyes darted toward the tree line, anticipation crackling in the air like a pre-storm chill. Something was coming, and it was far worse than they imagined. "What do you choose?" the figure asked, their voice slicing through the impending dread. "Will you face the truth, or let the shadows claim you as their own?" In that moment, a chilling howl broke from the dark, reverberating through the trees. As terror seized them all, the father realized their choices were far darker and deeper than they ever expected. The shadows writhed in excitement, waiting for their answer. What truth would they uncover, and what horrors awaited them just beyond the darkness? The howl echoed again, carving through the thickening fear, a primitive sound that sent shivers down their spines. The shadows responded with a restless surge, coiling around the family like snakes poised to strike. "What is that?" the little girl cried, her grip tightening on her mother's arm. Beneath her fearful gaze lay all the innocence of childhood, a stark contrast to the grim tableau unfolding. The father's mind raced. He could feel adrenaline coursing through his veins, mingling with the rising sense of dread. We have to be brave," he stammered, forcing the words out. But the truth lay heavy in his heart. Brave against what? The shadows? Or the truths they had buried deep? The cloaked figure swayed closer. "Bravery manifests in unusual forms, Father. Your courage can illuminate dark paths or lead you into despair. Choose wisely, for each step you take reveals your vulnerability." "What do you know about us?" the mother challenged, swallowing hard. Her voice steadied, a faint flicker of defiance igniting inside her. "You think you can scare us into submission? We'll not bend to your whims." But the figure only chuckled, that mirthless laugh echoing as if the trees themselves had joined in. "Submission? Oh, my dear, there's power in submission, power to see yourself unmasked. What you fear isn't me, it's the reflection of your truth." The father's pulse pounded in his ears, and in that moment, he realized what was at stake. "What would you have us sacrifice?" he bit out, his voice a mixture of anger and determination. "Another question? Another truth?" The figure's eyes gleamed in the dim light, dark slits full of wicked delight. "Sacrifice is a personal journey. What have you hidden away? What shame carries the weight of your love?" "Enough!" the mother shouted, stepping forward despite her fear. "We are a family. You can't tear us apart." But the shadows only hissed, the air thickening with their ominous tension. A low growl, now recognizable, pulsed from the depths. The children were trembling, inching closer together, eyes wide with terror. "Reveal yourself." The father's voice cracked, breaking through the oppressive silence. "What is it you bring? Show us." "Very well," the figure cooed, and with a dramatic flourish, they gestured toward the darkened thicket. The air shifted, palpable and charged, as a pair of glowing eyes appeared just beyond the tree line. They were not animalistic but eerily human, filled with pain and hunger. Something twisted within those depths, a reflection of every secret held too long, a manifestation of their silence. "I am what binds you, your fears, your sorrows," the figure hissed, voice dripping with glee. "I am the unseen cost of your love, the shadows that grow in silence unacknowledged, and yet so potent." "What do you know about love?" the mother pressed, now fueled by a fierce determination. "You twist it into chains, but it doesn't belong to you." "Fascinating, isn't it?" the figure replied, circling them once more. "The human heart, it craves connection but fears the exposure that truth brings. Love can bind while also imprisoning." Behind the figure, the glowing eyes grew closer, the growls rising to a feral pitch. The shadows pulsed like a heartbeat, drawing ever nearer, feeding on their fear. "What if we choose to face our truths?" the father shouted, voice steadying. "What then?" the figure paused, their twisted smile faltering for just a heartbeat. "Then you will face the consequences of that very decision." A horrifying howl erupted, drowning out the figure's words, and from the shadows emerged a creature massive, nightmarish, with a twisted form that blurred the line between beast and human. It advanced toward them, eyes hungry and filled with their darkest fears. As the creature drew closer, the family realized that the shadows weren't just a backdrop of terror, they were woven into the very fabric of their past. "Face it," the mother gasped, drawing her children close. "Whatever we have buried, we must face it together." But would they have the strength to confront their own fears? Would love truly tether them against the tide of darkness closing in? The creature paused, beastly breath escaping its maw, daring them to reveal their darkest truths in the suffocating shadows. The family stood at the precipice of revelation, sympathy battling superstition, waiting for the moment that could define them, or destroy them. In the looming darkness, the first step toward truth grew heavy with the weight of dread. What truths would they uncover, and what darkness would rise in their wake? The air crackled with tension as the creature's growl reverberated through the night, rising like a primal chant. Each member of the family could feel the oppressive weight of the moment, the shadows pressing in tighter. They stood shoulder to shoulder, hearts pounding as they faced the beast, a grotesque amalgamation of fear and raw emotion made flesh. "Step back!" the father shouted, pulling his children behind him instinctively. His body surged with protective adrenaline, yet doubt clawed at him. Was it courage or cowardice that kept him rooted in place? The creature's glowing eyes locked onto the family with a primal hunger, but it was not the hunger of a simple predator, it was the craving to expose the raw, unprocessed truths of their lives. It wanted to tear away the protective layers they had built, layer by layer, until nothing was left but the raw, aching, honest core. "Face the truth!" the mother screamed, her voice cutting through her fear. "We want to let you take us. Our love is stronger than your darkness." The creature paused. It was a brief moment, a hesitation that felt monumental. Did it sense the family's defiance, an ember flickering against the cold winds of despair? The shadows shrieked in confusion, writhing as if caught in a violent storm. "Ah, but love is also a sword," the cloaked figure whispered from the shadows. "One edge is truth and the other, lies. Choose the wrong path, and it could sever more than mere belief. What do you want from us?" The father's voice trembled now, both from anger and fear. Each word felt like a challenge. "Desire the cleaving of bonds you find too toxic to untie," the figure taunted, its eyes dancing with delight at their suffering. "Only then will the creature before you reveal its true form." As if on cue, the beast took a slow step forward, its form flickering. A shiver ran down the father's spine as he recognized that the grotesque exterior seemed to shimmer, changing, morphing. It buzzed like a live wire, unstable but alive. "Your secrets have festered too long," the beast snarled, its voice echoing the cloaked figure's. "And secrets demand tribute. What will it be? The price for healing your honesty?" The little girl, wide-eyed and trembling, clutched her mother's hand tighter. "Mommy, I'm scared," she whimpered, looking up as if searching for a lifeline. Her innocence made their situation all the more unbearable. "Sweetheart," the mother whispered, her heart aching, "we will fight this together." But inside, she felt the knot of fear twist tighter. What if they couldn't? What if the darkness within was too strong? "Every tear you shed nourishes my hunger," the creature hissed, taking another step closer. It was a demon formed from their unspoken regrets, flickering in and out of reality with each secret it hungered for. The father took a deep breath, steeling himself. "I could never protect you by hiding the truth," he said, trembling but resolute. "If we share our burdens, we may break this curse. Together." The family held their collective breath. The shadows swelled and pushed in with a ghostly chill, but they could feel the warmth of solidarity, a fragile bond holding them together. "What are you willing to lose?" the figure taunted, its voice dripping with challenge. "Everything we've concealed," the mother declared. "We'll tear down each wall, face every shadow within us, if it means exposing you." Cries of surprise flared as the creature recoiled, as if stung by their determination. The disguise it wore crumbled momentarily, revealing a visage that twisted with anger and fear. Reveal your deepest truth, then. And watch as the shadows devour your love. The creature's form shifted violently, its growls turning into cries of rage. With a single breath, the family took a step toward the darkness, ready to confront their roots of pain. They could feel the weight of their histories, the dreams untold breaking free, but in their resolve, they each pondered what revelations lay ahead. How far would they be willing to go? What skeletons would come tumbling out of the closet? As they locked eyes with the grotesque creature, fear now laced with determination, the shadows began to stir once more, swirling with renewed ferocity. What awaited them on the other side of truth? Would they emerge unscathed, or would the shadows consume all they held dear? The family inched forward, hands intertwined, determined, terrified, and unaware of the true price of their destiny. The shadows recoiled, swirling in a dark ballet around the family as the creature emitted a low growl, its form flickering chaotically. It seemed to feed off their hesitation, relishing the thin veil of fear that blanketed the scene. The air felt thick, heavier with each breath they took, an atmosphere charged not just with dread but with something ancient and unyielding. "What are you?" the father said, searching for any sign of the humanity buried beneath the awful shape. "What do you even want from us?" The creature's eyes glowed brighter, blindingly piercing through the fog of confusion. "I am the embodiment of your truths," it hissed, each word dripped with malice. "I whisper your failures, your doubts, the fragments of your lives you dare not acknowledge." The ground underfoot trembled as it spoke, as though the earth itself echoed its revelation. "Then why don't you show us what you really are?" the mother challenged, a fierce flicker lighting her spirit momentarily. "If your power comes from our darkness, then we will shine light on it." The creature recoiled as if pinched by the sun's rays. "Foolish mortals," it rasped, the words curling into hissing laughter. "You think yourself strong, yet your bonds are made of thread, fragile and frayed. Are you ready to expose your very souls?" A palpable chill swept through the air, and the little girl whimpered softly. "Mommy, I don't want to see." Her grip on her mother's hand tightened, trembling at the eerie shadows dancing around them like mischievous ghosts in the night. "The choice is yours, little one," the cloaked figure smirked from the edge of the darkness, its form barely visible. "But ignorance can be more painful than the truth. Shadows always remember without warning." The creature lunged forward, its face momentarily shifting to reveal a visage that seemed to melt into shards of glass, sorrowful eyes, twisted mouth, crumbling skin. Each fragment of its form was a sigh of unfulfilled dreams, echoing the weight of years spent in silence. The father gasped, stumbling back a step. "No. This can't be the truth. We are not those failures." But the beast laughed. It was an awful sound, reverberating through the family's bones. "You cling to the surface of your lives, but the deeper truths lie beneath. Speak what you disguise. What do each of you fear most?" The mother's heart raced, memories flooding her mind, arguments overheard, cancelled plans, dreams shelved for the sake of safety. "We are not perfect, but what?" the creature interrupted, its voice laced with mocking. "Do you dare to expose your weaknesses? Your pains? Speak. Let me taste the remorse you conjure." The family stood frozen, the weight of decisions heavy upon their shoulders. Each member's heart beat furiously in their chests as they clutched to their sanctuary, each other aware that to strip away their protective layers could reveal vulnerabilities they'd never wished to confront. "Let us do it," the father exclaimed suddenly, surprising even himself. "This is our moment. If we have any hope of defeating you, we have to face what lurks inside. Now," the mother said, stepping forward with newfound courage. "I regret not being open with you too. I feared my pain would change how you see me." The words spilled out raw, real, breaking free like a dam bursting. The shadows surged forward, reverberating with laughter, yet the family stood firm. The beast, sensing vulnerability, twisted its form ever more grotesquely, but they did not falter. "Regret means you care." The little girl whispered, squeezing her mother's hand. We care about each other. We're stronger together. The creature shrieked, thrashing like a wild tempest, its form beginning to wane under the surge of their collective honesty. You think your love can save you? It bellowed. Let us see if it can endure. The shadows swelled around them, a chaotic wave threatening to consume their joy, but the family stood together, shouting their truths. In that moment, light flickered at the edges of darkness, promising more than mere survival. It promised a glimpse of hope, but as the shadows closed in tighter, one question hung thick in the air: would their honesty be enough to banish the creature, or would it unearth secrets they weren't ready to face? The family held their breath, the next revelation looming like a specter, ready to reveal all they had hidden. The family clung to one another, their hearts pounding as the creature writhed in the shadows, its form flickering like a candle on the brink of extinction. Each truth they shared illuminated the darkness like pinpricks of light in a vast void. I'm scared, the little girl whispered, her voice barely audible, a fragile sound amidst the chaos. The mother knelt beside her, brushing back strands of hair from her face. It's okay to be scared, sweetheart. But we can't hide any longer. Her voice shook, but there was a fire in her eyes now. This is our moment to break free. Together. The father stepped forward, feeling the surge of resolve igniting within him. I've spent too long pretending I'm someone I'm not. I'm ashamed of my past decisions, turning away from opportunities, chasing after wealth instead of memories. I should have been there for you more, for all of you. His voice broke, raw and vulnerable. The creature howled in response, thrashing about, but the family pressed on. You think your failures define you? The cloaked figure taunted, shadows swirling like a storm. Your failures are the roots that entwine your bonds. Share more. What do you regret? Speak. Taking a deep breath, the mother spoke again, the weight of her honesty anchoring her resolve. I regret when I lost sight of what truly mattered. I sacrificed my dreams for security, thinking it was for your sake, that it would keep you safe, when in fact, I closed the door to my own joy. Light flared where they stood as she spoke, pushing back against the wrathful shadows. The creature screeched, despair ringing out like a bell. Keep going. Encouraged the father, his pulse racing. What else? What else can we free ourselves from? The children exchanged glances, feeling the courage of their parents envelop them like a warm embrace. The little boy stepped up, his voice trembling but fierce. I keep a secret too. I'm scared to say I'm not good enough. I try to impress you, but I feel like I always fail. His words struck like a hammer, resonating in the depths of the shadows. They flickered as if betraying the ghost of their power. I'm sorry, son, the father said, kneeling to meet his son's gaze. You could never fail us, not in the ways you're afraid of. We love you, you don't have to be perfect. With that, a surge of light pulsed around them, pushing back the darkness. The creature writhed, caught off guard, its form shrinking under the pressure of their growing honesty. The mother turned to the little girl's now glistening eyes. What about you, sweetheart? What do you want to say? With a trembling breath, the girl spoke up, I'm scared of what happens if we lose. I want to be brave like you, Mom. Like you, Dad. But what if I can't? What if I'm just a kid? The moment hung thick, tangible heat pulsing in the air. The father took her hands, squeezing them reassuringly. That's exactly it, you're still a kid, and it's brave to be honest about how you feel. There's strength in vulnerability. The shadows grew restless, swirling faster, radiating a desperate kind of fury. Releasing their hands, the mother turned back to the creature, her posture resolute. We all struggle with worth. Worth connected to love, family, and honesty. We don't have to pretend anymore. Love isn't perfect, it's about accepting one another, flaws and all. Her declaration cut through the air, a challenge directed at the beast. Silence. The beast bellowed, but it was growing weaker, its form quaking as cracks began to spread along its surface, light filtering through. Shadows hissed and shrieked, retreating slightly with each word spoken. What you fear is what can set you free. The figure cried desperately, but the family's collective truths roared like a firestorm, pushing the shadows further away. Unity thrummed in the air as the family held hands, standing strong, together. We will fight for each other, the father declared, and uncover our truths to break your hold. Remember. Love can withstand anything, including shame and regret. The mother shouted, her voice ringing with finality, and then it happened. The light exploded, washing over them like a tidal wave, scattering the darkness. The claws of the creature retreated, disintegrating into the mist, leaving nothing but a shimmering glow in their wake. As the light dimmed, the family found themselves standing before the old shrine, now a beautiful monument, imbued with warmth and hope. The heavy feeling of dread had vanished, replaced by an exhilarating release as if the air itself sighed in relief. The cloaked figure was gone, and standing there, in the glow of dawn breaking through the trees, they felt renewed, a bright tapestry of hope woven through the remnants of their fears. The father turned to each member of his family, pride swelling within him. We did this together. Every truth we faced made us stronger. The little girl grinned, overcoming her earlier fears. I'm not scared anymore. We're a team, right? The mother pulled both kids into a hug, surrendering to the joy that blossomed amongst them, laughter echoing through the trees. As the sun broke the horizon, illuminating the forest once more, they walked back hand in hand, no longer just a family defined by wealth or reputation but a family whole, united by love and truths acknowledged. They had faced the beast within and emerged victorious, armed with the knowledge that their greatest strength lay in their vulnerability, and as they stepped out of the shadows, the world felt brighter. The journey ahead was theirs, filled with love, laughter, and the courage to embrace whatever truths might come. But they would hold on to this. Love was the light that would guide them, no matter how dark the path ahead might be. Now, while you're still here, I have to ask you subscribe immediately to the channel so you don't miss the next exclusive stories. You need to subscribe now, and smash that like button now to feed the algorithm. Flood the comments section with your reactions and theories about this unexpected ending. Don't wait even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this conclusion. Your support is absolutely everything to keeping these stories alive.